Level up.
Level up, 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 level up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Them old mistakes are gone, I won't do them no more. That's old news, that's new news. I done did that before. I'll turn nothing to something. My comeback on 100. Let's talk it, more action. You just go see coming. I just keep elevating. No loss is just upgrading. My lessons make blessings. I turn that into money. They gotta never settle. This view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want. See me as a prayer, nothing I'm afraid of, and I can have it all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. They freeze get drop like weight. Team love don't want no hate. I'm grinding, I'm shining, up on my way. They gotta never settle. This view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want. See me as a prayer, nothing I'm afraid of, and I can have it all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. All this on me so level, on another level. Elevate your level, level. Graduate your level, there's no one on it. Nah. Hey, level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. I done did that before. I'll turn nothing to something. My comeback on 100. Let's talk it, more action. You just go see coming. I just keep elevating. No loss is just upgrading. My lessons make blessings. I turn that into money. They gotta never settle. This view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want. See me as a prayer, nothing I'm afraid of, and I can have it all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. They freeze get drop like weight. Team love don't want no hate. I'm grinding, I'm shining, up on my way. They gotta never settle. This view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want. See me as a prayer, nothing I'm afraid of, and I can have it all. Five, four, three, two, one. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy.
Hello, 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 everybody. I am so excited to have you all here today. Welcome, welcome to Contracts and Business Deals Bootcamp, where I am Erin Porche, founder and CEO of Global Works Consulting Group, your dynamic facilitator here to share with you the opportunities for you to launch into federal government contracting. I am excited today. I love, love, love what I do. I love the results that we have been able to yield for business owners, and we are just getting started. I'm so glad that you registered for this session today so that you can position yourself to build wealth by way of federal government contracting. So I would love to know who we have here today. If you can drop in the comments your name, your location, and the industry that you were in, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on today. It is 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are going to dive right into how you can get your inheritance by way of federal government contracts. So let's get started. I'd like to hear, who do I have on this boot camp tonight? Drop your name in the comments, drop your location, drop your industry. Just want to greet you and welcome you to this space. You invested to get started. Hello, Miss Angie Brown. Good to have you here today. Hello, Miss Sassy Women Brock. Miss Johnson, yes, okay. Good to see you. Let's see, who else do we have on the line? I saw we had another person and they dropped off. But let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm excited. I love Level Up. Truly, that's what we do in our business. We help business owners literally level up, taking their company to the next level, taking their profit margins to the next level, taking their capacity within their business to the next level. And literally, it has been an amazing experience to see business owners grow and expand by way of government contracting. Hello, Monica. So glad to have you. So I am going to switch gears, share my screen so that you can see. Let's see, share my screen so that you all can see the slides that I have prepared here. So give me a moment as I prepare to switch gears, and we are going to go right into federal government contracting. So if you can see my screen, drop it in the comments and let me know, yes, you can see the slide that I have positioned for you to go straight through this event. Let me know if you all can see my screen. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So again, welcome to Contracts and Business Deals, where we are going to help you get full understanding of what it means to be a federal government contractor, how the federal government buys, and give you those decision points so that you can decide where to get started. During this boot camp, we have goals. Our goals is to help you understand how you can leverage your current relationships to get into federal government contracting, the mindset of doing business with the government, key components to lay a solid foundation in your company, and also position you to develop an action plan to get your business in order. by way of federal government contracts. So we are, going to go straight into our mindset musings and talk about the foundations of business when it comes to working with the federal government. So, again, I am Erin Porsche. I run and manage a kingdom business. I love people. I am a mother. I'm truly a servant at heart, and I've invested over 15 years in the federal government. I consider myself a catalyst in the consulting realm, helping business owners get into this space, bridging the gaps, and helping you all seize the opportunities that are limitless, the opportunities where less than 1% of us show up to secure. That has been the common theme and thread of what I do in life, helping expose people to um, opportunities where it's a wide open space to do what it is that you've already been doing and tap into some lucrative streams of revenue. I build empires and I love to work with business leaders and I love to travel, dance, and we'll try just about anything once. So that is me in a nutshell. And my company is Global Risk Consulting Group. It was founded in 2009. And you all, I have to tell you that I started my company doing resume writing and helping people with their knowledge, skills, and abilities writing. Um, I worked for the federal government, and I believe that everybody needed to get a job with the federal government because there was limitless opportunities, so many different divisions and departments, and there was a place for everybody to leverage their skill sets and travel with it. And also, it paid really well, and on top of that, the benefits were phenomenal, right? So I felt like I wanted everybody to know about federal government, working for the federal government. So I started helping people to get jobs, and they were successful. And I got so many people hired with the federal government, just by doing the resumes and their knowledge, skills, and abilities. This was way back in 2009 through 2012, you all, and also helping people to start their business and providing coaching. My first business card had life coach on it. And here I am today, providing digital transformation, program management, federal government contracting support, and modernizing people's companies, providing change management and things of that nature. And literally, I am leveraging my past experience to be here today to help you navigate and get into this federal government contracting space. So, Global Risk Consulting Group has truly come a long way in providing services and supports to business owners. And here is just a glimpse of what we do in the federal government. And here is what we do to help small business owners get into the federal government space. We help people get registered in the appropriate systems. We help get business certifications, identify what business certifications best serve your company that you can leverage and procure those contracts based on your social economical classification. And we'll talk more about that a little later. We also help provide the market research and position your company to go after the appropriate contract opportunities based on where you are getting started. We help you understand where the money resides and how to position yourself to get it. We also help you get into the subcontracting space and help you posture yourself to become a primary contractor. So, in addition to that, we provide bid matching support, bid proposal, and submittal support. So, we literally provide a full suite of services and supports to help you get into the federal government contracting space. So, again, we are happy to have you here. We are happy to really help you navigate getting into this federal government contracting space. And when you registered, you should have received an email. In that email, you should have received a workbook. And in that workbook, it basically provided you with some key tips and key tools, key links of where to get started in federal government contracting. So take some time, go through that workbook. That workbook has some exercises in it that I would like for you to go through, if you haven't already done so, because it really is going to help you gain some insight on where to get started with federal government contracting. And if you have not received that via email, please send us a message to our mailbox at contracts@erinporsche.com. That way, we will be happy to provide you with that workbook, so that you have the materials that you need to be able to make the decisions and take action to get into this federal government contracting space. So, again, we want you to gain some keys in understanding the business mindset to do business with the federal government, how to target the markets in the federal government, and the proper business posture, giving you the key steps to get your business in order and to secure 6 and 7 figure contracts with the federal government. So, because we are talking about contracts and business deals in our workshops and trainings, we always have a boot camp agreement. This is all about contracts, right? This is about making the commitment and agreeing to those terms and conditions. And basically, in this boot camp, the agreement here is to open your mind, to breathe, to take note of all questions, and actively engage in this conversation. This information is for you. We want to make sure that you receive what it is that you invested and came to receive today. So be sure to engage and be sure to prepare to ask questions at the end. We're going to do a Q&A where we want to answer your questions and position you to make the decision on what are your next steps to procure federal government contracts here in 2021. So, with that, let's dive right into it. So, in all of the work that I do, both personally and professionally, a part of my a part of my work always involves mindset work, right? And that is because I believe that in all that we do, it is rooted in our mindset. So, with that, I like to talk about the mindset blockers. There are some core mindset blockers that prevent us from going to the next level in both life and in business. And being aware of those mindset blockers, I believe they will help to unlock those limiting beliefs and help you to propel yourself and position yourself to move forward and go to that next level. So, we're going to talk really quickly about those top 7 mindset blockers that I have firsthand experience, many of my clients and also family, friends, and myself included, to experience at different points in their lives. So that first one is not trusting ourselves. When it comes to not trusting yourself, most time there are prior experiences where you had an outcome that was not so favorable. It basically could have crushed your confidence and made you feel incapable of performing a task or an activity. You had an experience and you may have failed. You may have not been as successful as you sought out to be, right? So with that, you found yourself second guessing yourself, questioning if you were capable of doing said activity or accomplishing the goal. And with that, It created a sense of not being able to trust yourself to go down that path, to get that thing done that you made the attempt and wasn't as successful. And I want to tell you that in life, truly, it is so important that we get up and try it again, that we position ourselves to go forward and push through what may have looked like failure, because on the other side of that is the success that you are looking for. In most cases, I believe in life that there are blessings and there are lessons, and it's important that we embrace the processes and look at the positives and look at those windows of opportunity to learn and grow, and to move forward, right? So it's important that we trust ourselves and that we rebuild that trust in ourselves. And a way to rebuild the trust in yourself is to everyday practice one small task and celebrate that. Celebrate that win, right? And continue to build the momentum in doing another task and celebrating it. That way, you can rebuild the trust in yourself and that confidence that yes, you can do it. And your method, your way of getting it done, just might not look the way that it looks for someone else, but you have what you need within to get things accomplished and done. That next mindset blocker is not visualizing what life would look like with a lot more money. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna take one for me and you. Not visualizing what life would look like with a lot of more money. You all, I believe that visualizing is so important in our life. I'm going to put my glasses on. I believe that visualizing is so important in our lives. We set goals. We have dreams. We have visions. We have things that we want to accomplish in life. And they come to us as an idea. When that idea comes to mind, it is so important that we put ourselves in that position, visualizing, seeing ourselves doing what it is that we set out to do. For primary example, procuring $1 million contract. Take a moment, think about what it is that you already do in your business. Take that service that you've sold to clients and to customers that you have been successful in providing results. Take that client that you have serviced, your most recent client, and put a federal government agency in that place, such as Veteran Affairs, Health and Human Services, Homeland Security, Customs, Border Protection. Put one of those federal government agencies in that place and visualize yourself signing on the dotted line and showing up to deliver your service to that federal government agency with the multi-million-dollar contract. Just take a moment and process that. See yourself in that place. Can you see yourself procuring $1 million contract with the federal government? One contract. One contract can change the game for your business. The federal government issues multi-million-dollar contracts on a daily basis, multi-year contracts. It is a sure way to grow and scale your company, and one contract can change the game. A subcontract can change the game for your business. If you can see yourself procuring, if you can visualize yourself procuring a multi-million-dollar federal government contract, type yes in the comments. For those that are on YouTube, those that are on Facebook, type yes in the comments. And hello to everyone on Clubhouse that is listening in to this boot camp. Welcome. Thank you all for being here with us on today. And the next mindset blocker we want to talk about. Okay, yes. Yes, I see you all. I see your comments. I see your comments. And yes, sometimes we do think small, but I tell you, when you position yourself to level up and go after larger opportunities, larger deals, contracts with the federal government, it's game changer. It is truly game changer. And this is why we start this boot camp out with talking about those mindset blockers, because doing business with the feds, doing business with the federal government, that's a whole nother level of operation, a whole nother level of delivering on services and solutions. And it's a whole nother level of compensation. So everything is big. Everything is big. So let's go right into that number three mindset blocker, and that is your family's money story and losing a sense of belonging after success. Our family money story is what it is. We were born into a family, and some of our family's money story was, amazing. You were able to be born into a family where you were able to get your inheritance. And for some of us, that was just not the case. We came from humble beginnings, okay? And whatever that family money story is, it is what it is. Getting an understanding of what that family money story is the first step to getting an understanding of where the opportunities reside for you to add to that family money story, to change the narrative of that family money story, and also enhance that family money story. Whatever your family money story is, you have an opportunity, one way or the other, to take it to the next level, to enhance it and build more wealth and establish and continue a legacy. So, whatever your family money story is, I want you right now in this moment to just accept what it is and decide that, hey, I am going to position myself to procure federal government contracts, and I am going to change the family money story by adding federal government contracting into our portfolio and be able to set something in place so that my children's children can continue on with this legacy and do big business with the federal government. Imagine your children's children, first job being managing and running a contract with the federal government. Again, I said federal government contracts are multi millions of dollars, multi years. The federal government does not like to have to continuously go out and compete. So if you show up, you get a contract, and you are doing well and executing and performing on that contract, the federal government is going to stick with you to do the work and give you more and more and more dollars and more capacity and more work. And then you will just find yourself sorting work. So, with that being said, whatever that family money story is, it's time to accept it and position yourself to add value to it and enhance it. The other mindset blocker, and I have six for today, is feeling unsafe to show up and be seen. In most cases, there are things that may happen in our lives that pushes us into a bubble, pushes us into a cave, and we become isolated. COVID is one of those things that literally forced us into isolation, and truly, we felt unsafe. We felt unsafe to go outside. We felt unsafe to connect with other people, and we felt unsafe to just commune with other people. So we were sheltered. We were in our homes for months and months and months and months. And now things are opening up. And now people have to push through the notion of, okay, do I wear a mask? Do I not wear a mask? Do I go to this place? Do I touch this? Do I touch that? Do I hug this person? Do I cough out loud in front of people? You know, those thoughts are now mindset blockers and you have to process and decide how you're going to do things differently, how you're going to show up differently, how you're going to respond and behave differently. COVID was a situation and a circumstance that was beyond our control. And for many people, it created mindset blockers. So I want to help unlock those mindset blockers that we may have formed over time due to those unfortunate experiences that made us feel safe and that made us feel like we could not show up and that we could not be seen or did not want to be seen. I want you to know that you have the power to create a space of safety for yourself, and that starts within. And it is important that we position and posture ourselves to show up on purpose and be seen and be heard, because there are people that are waiting on us to show up so that they can be set free and unlocked and carry out what they have purpose to do as well. So it's important that we do the work to rewire rewire our survival mechanisms, so that we can feel safe. And that is the work that we must do for ourselves. And in times when we feel unsafe and don't want to show up, we're falling into what is called an identity trap. And that basically is moving further and further away from being our natural selves. So it's just important that we recognize where we are avoiding showing up, avoiding being seen, and falling into that space of what is known as an identity trap, and reverse that and get back to who you know that you are. Right? It's just so important that we recognize those blockers and do what we can to get back on track. The next mindset blocker is lack of self confidence. We all have had experiences where our confidence was hurt or impaired or affected, right? There are times where on the job you were tasked to do something and it wasn't exactly as it was expected or required, and you had to go back and do it again. That could have affected your confidence, right? But knowing who you are, knowing yourself, is always so important. And you know when you know who you are and you know whose you are and you know what your capabilities are, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you can hold on to your confidence and regain your confidence in those experiences that may impact or affect your confidence, and walk in what it is that you know you are capable of doing. I believe that it's important that we learn from those experiences and give ourselves grace, give ourselves credit for the things that we have been able to accomplish, and hold on to those things, because they are intentional and they are also a part of the fabric of who we are. Um, and that final mindset blocker is fear of failure and fear of success. I'm going to spend a moment on the fear of success. People always talk about fear or failure. And I can tell you, for me, in life, I've never had time to fear anything. Truly, in life, I've always had to move and jump. I am actually I was a teenage mom, so with that, I was really wired differently, and I've lived by faith. But when it comes to fear of success, people often fear those things that they've never been able to accomplish or attain in their lives. And while we have big goals, we have big dreams, it's unfamiliar territory, it's uncharted territory, it's new spaces that we are positioning and preparing ourselves to go in. And when people fear success, basically you sabotage your opportunity to get to that next level and obtain that success in the midst of the process by um, by impeding your progress, by avoiding acknowledging that you are ready to go to the next level. You also impede your success by failing to engage with people that are on that level that can really help you be successful, that can pour into you and help you navigate getting into that new space. We fail to engage with other people that are on that level where we are trying to go. And that is basically sabotaging our opportunity to get there, to be successful, and walk in that space that we know that we're called to be in. So it's just important that we know that we must show up. And it's important that we connect and show up in spaces and places where it is unfamiliar and where people are operating on a higher level and people are more successful than we are, because that's the only way we're going to be able to grow and expand. So, those are the 6 mindset blockers that we like to talk about to help unlock um, those blockers as you position yourself to procure federal government contracts. All right. So now that we have got the mindset work out of the way, let's go right into some facts about federal government contracting. What we know is that the federal government is the largest company in the world, and they provide more than 1 billion new opportunities in the service sector alone. This does not include products. 1 billion new opportunities in the service sector alone, where you can bid for contracts each day. The federal government signs over 11 million contracts every single year. Do you see where you can possibly be in that number to procure one of the 11 million contracts that the federal government cuts per year? If you can see yourself being in that number to get one of the 11 million, type yes in the comments and let me know. Let me know. I want to see what y'all thinking, what y'all feeling about these facts with how many contracts the federal government cuts per year. If you can see yourself in that number, I want to know. All right, all right. I see some yeses. Awesome, awesome. So, when I'm talking about federal government contracting, one of the main questions that I get is what I offer in my company, does the federal government buy it? What does the federal government buy? And what I always say is literally everything. Everything is pretty much built upon the federal government's systems and programs. The federal government is the top, right? All policy, all procedures, all levels of government down to the state and the local level. It's spearheaded at the top with the federal government. So, with that being said, when it comes to agriculture, utilities, construction, manufacturing, finance, insurance, transportation, warehousing, wholesale trade, real estate, rental and leasing, healthcare, social assistance, arts, entertainment, food service, public administration, professional services, science, technical services, administrative services, support, waste management, remediation, education. You name it, the federal government buys it. Mining, oil and gas, fishing, forestry. Y'all, The federal government literally buys everything. They buy information technology, hauling, dumping, porta johns, landscaping, home rehabilitation, janitorial services, office supplies, after school care programming, strategic planning, coaching, leadership coaching, graphic design, marketing, interior design, surveying, bulk mailing. Literally, the federal government buys everything. SAT prep. People don't talk about these things, but when I tell you the federal government buys paper clips, pens, we already know they buy medical supplies. COVID has taught you and shown you that. People got rich overnight selling 15 masks to the federal government. Office furniture, stationery. Yo, the federal government literally buys everything. It's really just a matter of packaging your services and marketing it to the federal government at a premium price. And that's what I'm going to help you do. So, when we think about your business and where you are you eligible to do federal government contracting? I get that question as well. And let me tell you, at Global Works Consulting Group, we help you get your business in order. We help you ensure that your company is set up on a solid foundation. I will call out a couple things that are required for you to position yourself to do business with the federal government. And those things are: one, have articles of organization, have a registered business with your state, have a business bank account, be in good status with the federal government. What does that mean? Well, that means you have no felonies. That means that you have no federal government debt that is outstanding. You can have student loans and they can be in forbearance, or you can be paying on them. You can have debt with the IRS and you can have a payment arrangement. But all financial obligations must be in good standing, basically paying on them if there is any debt. You want to have a profit and loss statement. You want to have a personal network statement. Those things can be developed if you don't have them. You want to have a mailing address and a physical mailing address. You want to have an EIN number, proof of citizenship. And you want to have a list of the work that you've done in the past for your clients as well as on your job. This is what's going to make your portfolio for doing business with the federal government. So, yes, you can position yourself to do business with the federal government. And we show you the ropes, we show you how. Some of those business foundations also include the mandatory registrations, getting your DUNS number, and also registering for SAM, getting into the System for Award Management System. That's how the federal government releases payment to business owners in the SAM system. Now, I always like to share the local resources that are available to everyone, to every business owner. Every state has local resources that are funded by the federal government where you can register your company, go to these centers or call these centers, and they can provide you with support to help you take your business to the next level. Some of those local resources include the Women's Business Center, the Small Business Development Center. They're known as the SBDC. There's also a Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. They're called PTECs. What I love about the SBDCs and the PTECs is that they provide phenomenal training. The training is available to both you and your staff. And basically, you can learn, things about QuickBook. You can learn about hiring, setting up your HR division and department. You can also learn about pricing for your company services, bidding, and things of that nature. The federal government staff these centers with federal government consultants Now, I can tell you that many of these centers are understaffed, so the level of support can vary from state to state. But it's important to get registered with them because they provide free resources and they provide free training. In the free training, you can also leverage being in those spaces to network, right? You can actually network with other business owners that are on the same journey, on the same quest of procuring government contracts. And this will also open up the window and the door for you to network and team up with other business owners. So that's the value of leveraging the small business development centers as well as the PTECs, the procurement technical centers. You can go to sba.gov and type in SBDC or PTECs and putting in your zip code to find out where is the nearest center closest to you. In addition to that, there's the Chamber of Commerce and there are the urban leagues. They provide very similar services and supports to small business owners. So we want to make sure that you all have access to these centers because they are available to provide you with the support that you need in your local state, your state or city, wherever you reside. So, in short, we have walked through the first half of contracts and business deals, and the keys to success in the industry is to know that repetition is necessary. Repetition will help you to navigate in this space of federal government contracting. Doing your research is so important and understanding your mindset blockers so that you can reprogram and rewire and help yourself to unlock those blockers so that you can move forward. And finally, fostering relationships, evaluating them, and leveraging those opportunities for partnerships and taking action is so important. So we invite you all to connect to our community where we are all pursuing federal government contracts and we are growing and building together. So let's talk about a couple takeaways. If you all can drop in the comments one key takeaway that you picked up from this first half of the session, I would love, love, love to hear your key takeaway so that we can make sure that this is sticking, that you are getting value from this conversation and from this information that we are sharing with you. If you can drop in the comments one of your key takeaways from this first half session, I'd love to hear some of your feedback. Any key takeaways from those that are online with us tonight? Great. I'm glad that this was great information. I cannot see your name, so if you can grant StreamYard permission, we could actually then see your name and I can be able to acknowledge you by your name. But thank you for sharing that this has been valuable to you. Yes, yes, Ms. Angela, you would certainly need to get your DUNS number. And yes, there is local resources that are available to you. Good deal, good deal. Those are great takeaways. Great takeaways. So, as we go forward, we will talk about leveraging relationships and partnerships, positioning, how you package and position yourself to market to the federal government. And then we'll talk about marketing methods to the government. How do you get in front of those buyers, right? So, in short, another quick tip about what I do with federal government contracting support and why I do it. I started my career in the federal government chasing disasters, and I became a contracting officer. And understanding, managing contracts, managing contractors, was my day-to-day work. So I have experience from the inside, on the federal government side of the house. And I retired myself, and after I learned how lucrative the opportunities were, with federal government contracting, I said, okay, I've gotten all these people jobs with the federal government. Now, one day I'm going to become a federal government contractor. And I retired myself and I became a federal government contractor. There was this couple that was, reservists for the federal government. And I remember this lady telling me that they worked 6 months out of the year and they sailed the other 6 months. They worked in emergency management. It was a couple, and they lived in a hotel for 6 months and on a boat for the other 6 months. I'm just gonna let y'all process that right quick. They were on their second retirement, and they loved what they did for 6 months, and the other 6 months they were on the water. I'm like, Miss Madeline, how? How? She said, well, what you don't realize is, as a reservist, the federal government pays for our lodging. They pay for our hotel, they give us per diem, and they pay for our meals. And they pay us a salary for the work that we do. So the 6 months that we work pays for the next 6 months for us to do whatever we want to do with our time and our money. I looked at her, and I was probably 21 at the time. I said, I want to be like that when I grow up. I want to be like that when I grow up. And I tell you, you guys, I never imagined that I would be teaching other business owners how to position themselves to procure federal government contracts. But I tell you, I am grateful for the journey. I'm grateful for the experiences. And I'm grateful for the inspiration. The people that I've come in contact with. I've worked across more than 75 federal government agencies, on different levels in their divisions and departments. I've worked on the federal level, the region level, the state level, and the local level. I've worked in mayor's offices, governor's offices, the White House, you name it, all levels of government. And because I have such a diverse portfolio and background, I have relationships with, people in these different federal government agencies that I have fostered and maintained over the course of many, many years, over the course of 15 years, going on 16 years now. So, those things alone, I've been graced to show up in this capacity and help other business owners get into this federal government contracting space, literally leveraging what's in my hand, leveraging what's in my hand, what's in my head, and what's in my heart. So literally, doing what I love, and I can do this in my sleep, honestly. So really happy to help you all, to serve you all, and to support you all to navigate in this space, because I know the lay of the land. I know where the money resides. I know where the resources are. I understand the different missions of the federal government agencies. It can really help couple what it is that you already do in your business, um, and help you identify where to get started with federal government contracting. So, all things being said, let's talk about marketing. When you think about selling to the federal government, literally that means, well, when you think about marketing, that literally means selling to the federal government. The federal government puts out their requirements, their specs. They pretty much, specify what they want in those contracts, and they want to know if you can deliver on the service, and you've got a deal. So in our excuse me, in the resource guide that you received, there was a link included for you to go out and do an assessment and get an understanding of what is your marketing style. If you have not done so already, I admonish you to go ahead and learn what your marketing style is. Do the assessment, it's free. Okay, it's free. It's going to help you a great deal as you position yourself and package your information to go out and market to the federal government. So there are methods to marketing to the federal government. And again, what does it mean to market to the government? It literally, like I said, it means selling to them, selling to the federal government. Um, we want to help you identify the opportunities to market to the federal government and how you can package your products and your services. So those are the objectives for this section. So when you are preparing to market to the federal government, there are some questions that you want to ask yourself. And literally, you are starting with your experience, with your past performance, both on your job and in your business. You want to leverage those things that you have already been successful with, um, and position yourself to market those to the federal government. So, a couple questions you want to ask yourself. I'm not going to read all of these, but a couple questions is, what are your core competencies? Which agencies need what you provide? What sets you apart with those services and those solutions that you provide? And how does selling to the government fit into your overall business strategy? Those are some questions you want to ask yourself when preparing to market to the government. Once you process and think about those things, you want to create your business portfolio. Your business portfolio is basically your resume for your company. And the federal government calls this your capability statement. Your capability statement, again, it's just like a resume, and it's going to include your company name and information and your company profile and those things that you do well. You'll also include your DUNS number and your NAICS codes. You include your product service codes, those things that you offer and sell to the government. And if you have any business certifications, you'll also include those things that set you apart and your current and most recent projects or clients that you've served. This is what makes up a capability statement, which you would actually use as your marketing tool to sell to the federal government. In addition to that, when thinking about marketing to the federal government, what does your online presence say about you? It's so important that you think about what does your online presence um, what does your online presence say about you? The federal government, just like me and you, have access to the internet at their fingertips. While there are firewall blockers in some federal government agencies' offices, they have their cell phones, and when they are looking at qualifying a customer to deliver on a contract, they will Google your name, they will Google your company name, and they will then be able to see what your online presence looks like. So it's important that whatever you put in your capability statement, whatever you put in your response for a bid, you want to represent that online. And if you have a different personality on your personal social media page, you want to mark that private, okay? You want to make sure that people cannot access that information because your online presence does matter, okay? Just want to put that out there because it's important. It does matter. The federal government, they do qualify and they do their research. So, continuing on, how do you identify the needs of the market? Once you've decided that you want to sell to the federal government, you want to do some research, right? Again, you want to identify what agencies buy the most of your product or your service. You want to also identify what locations you want to target. You also want to identify what companies hold primary contracts that you could target and partner with and become a subcontractor. You also want to identify when was the contract awarded. Y'all, these details, these key points, these questions are so key because they will help you get into the federal government contracting space just as quick as you are ready. What I love about the federal government is they provide lots of public information. You can follow the trends right now today to see what the federal government will be spending money on in fiscal year 2022. The federal government puts out a strategic plan. All divisions and departments have a strategic plan that you can look at. In those strategic plans, you can get an understanding of what issues and challenges they are experiencing in their divisions and departments. With that information, you can be a problem solver. You can literally be a problem solver and get a contract because you've shown up to solve a problem. So that's the value of looking at those strategic plans. Also, looking at their forecast. They put out forecasts to let you know what contracts are coming down the pike. In addition to that, the Congress approves a budget for every department. If you listen to President Biden's first 100 days in office, he talked about the jobs plan, talked about the infrastructure plan, the American Rescue Plan. All of these plans, he's putting forth new budgets, new dollars. These new budgets and these new dollars equate to contracts. So it's important that we keep our eyes and ears open on these different topics and these things because that gives you intel of what opportunities are coming down the pike that line up with the services and the solutions that you already offer. And then from there, with that information, you can position yourself to compete for those contracts when they hit the street. So, you want to target the federal government agencies that need the services that you sell. When thinking about contracting, there's two type of contracting opportunities. There's primary contracts. That means you, as the business owner, hold the contract and you are able to source the work to other businesses and they become a subcontractor to you and you would pay them. So as the primary, you do business with the federal government pays you, and from there you staff um, for the contract to fulfill the requirements of that contract. That could mean you staff in-house or you outsource some of that work to other companies and they become a subcontractor and you negotiate the terms and the fees that you pay to those companies. You can also get started in federal government contracting as a subcontractor, meaning you go to those larger companies that currently hold contracts with the federal government and you get a piece of the pie. Again, you negotiate what that payment arrangement looks like and you do a contract with that company that holds that federal government contract. The difference here is as a subcontractor, your contract is with another company, whereas their contract is with the federal government. But you both are providing a service to the federal government, meaning you get an opportunity as a subcontractor to not only build capital, but you can build relationships and you can build your portfolio because you are doing business with those federal government agencies. Subcontracting, I am an advocate for always saying to small business owners that are just getting started in this space to start with subcontracting. Get you a local contract or get you a state contract. I tell you, it is the surest way to get into this federal government contracting space. And it's important that we understand our capabilities, we understand our capacity, and we understand the requirements of the federal government contract so that we can deliver in excellence and fulfill those commitments and be able to duplicate the process, renew those contracts, right? And get more work because, it is very lucrative, but there's no playing games when it comes to procuring federal government contracts. So at Global Risk Consulting Group, we help build sustainable companies. We make sure that your company is set up on a solid foundation. You have your business in order and you are able to focus on delivering your service and solution to the federal government. And through our workshops and programs, we help you set those things in place. Again, I am a retired Govy, so I want to make sure that when we get into this space, we are successful and we have sustainable companies so that we can win and continue to build wealth in this space. So with all things being said, there are agencies that spend big dollars with small businesses. I call this the top 10. When we talk about targeting federal government agencies, going to their sites, learning about their mission sets and how it aligns with the services and the products that we already offer, you want to start with these top 10 agencies because they do the most business with small businesses. And I'm going to start from the bottom: Department of Justice, Department of Interior, Department of Health and Human Services, HHS. Everyone should know who they are by now. Department of Education, Department of Veteran Affairs, Department of Energy, Department of Defense, General Service Administration, that's the GSA. They're basically the landlords for the federal government. And then there's NASA. And finally, there's Department of Agriculture. These are the top 10 agencies that spend the most dollars with small businesses. So these basically are those agencies where you have the highest window of opportunity to do business with them, right? So when doing your research, get an understanding of their mission sets, get an understanding of how their mission aligns with what it is that you're passionate about and what you love to do. And these are the agencies that you will want to get started with your journey to federal government contracts. So on this slide, basically it is a glimpse of clients that we have served and are serving in our company at Global Works Consulting Group. As I said, the federal government was my first client, my first six-figure client as a subcontractor. Not only did I work for the federal government, but when I got out, my first opportunity was a subcontract, and it was a six-figure deal. And that's what I like to show business owners how to do, how to repackage your services and solutions and go back to the federal government as a subcontractor through those primaries and get your feet wet, get into the space, get an understanding of, how to operate and function in the federal government environment. And then from there, you position yourself to become a primary contractor. So with that being said, as I said, we've worked in mayor's offices and governor's offices and secretary's offices in the federal government. And you can see the logos here of those agencies that we've served, as well as the small businesses that we've provided, to include many ministries that we have provided services and supports to. And we'd like to add you to this wall of logos as a success story when we help you land your first contract. So, with that being said, there are benefits to getting certifications. Just as you get certifications as an individual, you get your degrees and things of that nature in the areas that you specialize. Well, your business gets benefits for getting certifications as well. There are socioeconomical certifications that your business can qualify for, and you want to leverage those certifications. Some of those benefits include networking and strategic partnership opportunities. Some of those certifications also give you access to free training and educational opportunities. When I tell you those local resources, such as the Small Business Development Center and those Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, they provide free training and educational opportunities. You want to leverage those trainings so that you can stay current and growing with the industry. The federal government contracting industry is a forever changing industry. So for people that get into this space, it is a commitment, right? It's not some get rich overnight type deal. It is very lucrative, but you've got to be committed to this. We help people start and set up divisions and departments in their companies for federal government contracting. It is that lucrative, and while a lot of businesses are already providing services to other small business owners and to corporate, they want to maintain those customers and that clientele. So with that, you will need resources allocated to your federal government contracting, or you outsource that to a company like mine. So in addition to that, with getting those certifications, you get access to bid opportunities, and your company can be also added to a database where they provide information on vendors, and also they demonstrate your value to becoming a primary or subcontractor. So again, many benefits to getting business certifications in this federal government contracting space. So when we think about how much money does the federal government spend with small businesses, currently it's 26.5%. But as you know, earlier this month, President Biden mentioned that he is working to increase the amount of dollars that is allocated in their budget to spending more with small business owners. So this is why it is a good time to position yourself to get into the federal government contracting space, because the resources, the need and the demand for small business owners to procure these contracts and do the work, it's there. Currently, the federal government spends $132 billion with small businesses. And there are specific types of certifications that you can get on the federal government level. And one of those certifications is becoming an 8A certified. Being 8A certified, the federal government spends $51 billion for companies that have that particular certification. Being a small business, a small disadvantaged business, or in a hub zone, historically underutilized business zone, based on your zip code, the federal government spends $11.4 billion in that space. Your business can be a certified hub zone. In addition to that, there's the service disabled veteran owned and a small business, and that's 22 billion. And then there is woman owned, or economically disadvantaged woman owned small business, and there the federal government spends $26 billion for business owners that get those types of certifications. So again, there's some different types of certifications. We help you assess where to get started and what certification could best benefit your company, depending on the industry that you are in. In addition to that, there's private industry certifications, those that require an investment and some that don't require an investment. And then there's state and local government level certifications that you can get. And we always are advocates for getting started with state and local government contracting. Get registered and signed up with your state procurement office, because that is also another good way to get experience and exposure to um, doing business with the government and fulfilling the requirements of the commitment that you make with contracts. So look out for how you can get signed up with your state and local procurement office, and also what certifications are available at no additional charge to you for for doing business with the state. So, when we talk about leveraging the relationships and the partnerships that you currently have and hold, there are different levels of people that you want to engage with and interact with. We know that for all contracts, there are contracting officers and specialists. Those are the people that procure, they're considered the procurers. And those are the people that you can have first contact with when having questions about a contract that is out there on the streets that you are interested in submitting a bid for. Then there are those influencers, those are the program managers. They're the high level decision makers in the divisions and the departments, and they pretty much oversee the contracting officers and also the end users. Then there's the end users that pretty much know the level of details of what is required and what type of outcomes they're looking for you to deliver on that contract. The end users are more than likely the people that you'll spend the most time with, so that you understand the requirements of the contract that you are fulfilling. And I'm mainly talking service based here, but they can really help you navigate and deliver on that service. So that they can get what it is that they need for that contract to be fulfilled. When you are doing your market research and looking on LinkedIn, those are some of the titles of the people that you want to look for, those contracting officers, those program managers, because again, those are the people that you will more than likely be in touch with. And when you think about getting in front of those decision makers and those procurers, you want to introduce yourself. You want to introduce your business, let them know the services that you provide, and you want to share with them how long you've been in business and how you can add value to their company. Okay. You can connect with these people on LinkedIn. You can attend networking events, virtual networking events. And again, you can leverage those training events that the local resources such as PTEC and the SBDC, and also the Urban League and the Chamber of Commerce, divisions like that, you can get in that space. And also some of the buyers and those suppliers are in those trainings as well. So those are different opportunities and ways to build relationship, network, and get in front of your customer. And finally, as I've mentioned earlier, the federal government puts a lot of information out there where we have access to do our research. We can see the forecasting. We can see what the federal government is buying, how much of it is they're buying, and how we can position ourselves to win those contracts that are being forecasted. So we can see those bid opportunities on sam.gov. We can see current opportunities. We can see past awards. We can see future potential. And we can also see those primary contractors, those people that currently hold contracts, and see the end date for when those contracts end. Those are those windows of opportunity for you to get into the subcontracting space. You can register to get email notifications on those different opportunities that are coming down the pike. And you can also track potential competitors. Those primary contractors are really good to get started with the subcontractors because, again, you get an opportunity to get into the environment of a federal government agency. You can get experience, you can get exposure, you can um, build up your capital so that when you get to that place of procuring a primary contract, you now have the capital to employ and hire other people so that you can expand your capacity and fulfill the requirements of the contract. So those are the things that we like to share with business owners so you understand how you can leverage those key relationships and strategic partnerships and with working with those primary contractors. So when it comes to forecasting, there's the acquisitions central agency procurement site where you can go to acquisition.gov and see those opportunities. And you want to, on those different federal government websites that I talked about, those top 10, you can go to their site and look at the section where it says doing business with. There you can then learn more about how you can do business with these different agencies and also the different companies that hold federal government contracts. Most companies that have contracts with the government, they have a doing business with section on their page, and they let you know how you can contact them to become a subcontractor. Because again, there are requirements for set asides and those business certifications where big contractors need to do business with small business owners. So you want to look at the doing business with section of their website so that you can get in contact with those primary contractors and pursue subcontracting opportunities. Okay, and we want to just touch on pricing. Pricing can really be a more extensive conversation, but because this boot camp is foundational and informational, we will share that the GSA e-library provides a plethora of information where you can do pricing research. You can figure out if your price is competitive, and you can also look at prospective contractors information as well on those websites. So that's the GSA library, the GSAadvantage.gov site, and also you can look at the GSA schedule sales query site to learn more about competitive pricing and things of that nature. So again, this boot camp was provided to give you insight on the windows of opportunity to do business with the federal government, give you information on those decision points to identify, is my company ready to do business with the federal government? And if so, what is the next step? And if not, what do I need to do to position myself to be ready to leverage the opportunities that are coming down the pike for federal government contracts? So, with that being said, in our boot camp, we want to give you those core foundational pieces of information so that you can decide where to get started in the industry of federal government contracting. So we have some next steps for you. We offer a roadmap to federal government contract workshop where we help you devise an action plan, help you understand where to get started, And in that action plan, we go through a full list of things that you need to put in place. Make sure that your infrastructure is set up so that once you get into this space of federal government contracting, you're able to focus on your client, able to focus on delivering your services and solutions in excellence to the federal government. We eliminate the guesswork when getting started and setting up the foundations of your company through this workshop. It's a 2-day workshop. The first day we map out your action plan, and then day 2 we actually help you execute. It's literally an execution session for the 30 items that are on the action plan list. We literally walk through each one of those items, show you where to go, what to do, how to do it, and from filling out your DUNS application to setting up your SAM account, we literally do a virtual tour and eliminate the guesswork and helping you get set up. What we know is that business owners have been successful in providing services and solutions to corporate America and to other business owners. And you have a prime opportunity to repackage those services and offer them to the federal government. So we want to eliminate the guesswork and help accelerate your path to getting into federal government contracting, which is why we created this workshop. We will help you get into this space and take immediate action so that you are postured and positioned for the federal government's highest buying season. We know that we're in hurricane season, and the federal government's highest buying season is during the months of July through September in Q4. So with that, depending on your level of readiness, you can position yourself and be ready to get your first subcontract. And if you are at that level where you're ready to get a primary contract, we'll help you assess that. But you can join us in the workshop by visiting wewantcontracts.gov. I'm sorry, wewantcontracts.com. We're not .gov. We are a small business for profit. We are not a government agency. Let me get that out right now and clear. But we would love to invite you all to join us at our workshop. And you can learn more about getting registered for our workshop by visiting wewantcontracts.com. If you have more questions and want to understand where we recommend you get started in your roadmap to federal government contracts, you could actually visit wewincontracts.com. There is a readiness assessment where you can learn more about where you are in that scale of positioning yourself to get federal government contracts. And it will give you some results and some recommendations on where we at Global Works Consulting Group recommend you get started. So that's wewincontracts.com. And for those that are positioned and ready to launch into federal government contracting, you have your business in order, you have your back office in order, you know that you can be a subcontractor like tomorrow. We have an accelerator. It's a subcontractor mastery program, and it is application only because like I said, I used to work for the federal government. I operate with integrity, and I really just don't believe in offering people things that they are not able to get a return on the investment, or just not able to leverage at the time of the investment. So our accelerator is application only. So we invite you all to send us an email if you're interested in learning more about the Subcontractor Accelerator Program. And our email is contracts@aaronporche.com. So I just want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight at our Contracts and Business Deals Bootcamp. This information will be available to those that have registered. You have access to revisit this and replay this as many times as you need to help you make the decision on where to get started and when to get started. But the next level in this journey with Global Works Consulting Group in helping equip you and empower you and prepare you for federal government contracting would be to register for our workshop. Our workshop is actually happening next week on Thursday, the 24th, where we'll do the action planning session and then we'll do the execution session on that Saturday. For those that are interested in the workshop, you will actually get access to the boot camp on replay. We do the boot camp on a monthly basis, so you can also come back and attend live. You also get access to an exclusive Facebook group where the replay for the action planning session as well as the execution session will be available to you unlimited. And in addition to that, you get coaching along the way. We not only want to show you the ropes, but we want to help you take action and get your business in order so that you can be a successful federal government contractor and have a sustainable company so that you can duplicate the process. With that, we have serviced many clients in this space, all the way up to setting up federal government contracting divisions and departments for these companies and helping to implement strategies that we create for them. What you see on the screen here is a client deliverable where we do the market research and provide them with procurement strategies, right? Again, we are very well versed in this space, firsthand experience, having worked for the federal government as a contracting officer, as well as being a contractor to the federal government. So we invite you all to continue this journey on to become a federal government contractor. You guys can connect with us certainly on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and of course Clubhouse. And we want you all to take immediate action. So give us some feedback, give us a review on your experience with this boot camp. If you have questions, I'd love to open it up for questions. We do have a free public Facebook group that you all can join with other business owners that have come through our programs, as well as some that are making the decision to join us in some of our programs. But join us in our free Facebook group or take the quiz at wewincontracts.gov.com. I don't know why I keep saying .gov, but we'd love to open this up right now for you all to be able to ask your questions. We want to make sure that you have the information that you need. We appreciate you for investing your time here today with us to learn how you can get started with federal government contracting. So for anyone that have questions, I want you to go ahead and drop it in the comments. And hello, hello, hello. I haven't looked at my phone in a minute, but to those that are in the room here on Clubhouse, thank you all so much for tuning in and listening in. I am Erin Porche, CEO and founder of Global Works Consulting Group. I'm here to provide you with information on how you can position your company to be successful and launch into this federal government contracting space. So I am going to take a moment, open it up for questions. We are wrapping things up on time and in time. So ask your questions, drop your questions in the comments. And for those that are here on Clubhouse, feel free to raise your hand and I will invite you to the stage. Hello, Damon, and thank you for coming to the stage. I appreciate you for being here tonight. Feel free to ask your question.
Hi, Aaron.
Hello.
Thank you for this. I am curious. I'm actually currently a federal employee, and I am just curious about some of the things that I should be doing to prep myself to transition. I'm not close to retirement or anything, but I'm trying to get some of these big checks. I know a little bit about a lot. Did some contracting training, but I'm not in that space of procurement. I'm just curious of some of the things that maybe I should be thinking about now from the inside out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great question. I tell you, when I worked for the federal government, I always had an entrepreneur mindset. And, with that, I always looked at everything that I did in the agency as a business, right? So with that, you take the information that you are gaining and the experience that you are gaining, and look at that as how could I apply this to my business if I had one? What are those windows of opportunity where I could solve a problem that they're having internally by way of a contract. And you want to document that, you want to notate that, and you want to create what could potentially be a program or a service or a solution. So you take your experience, you want to start documenting your experience now, because that's going to become your portfolio, and what you package and market to the federal government. So having your beefed up resume and building out your capability statement, capturing your core competencies. That's something that you would want to do. In addition to that, continue to build relationships, right? Building relationships internally, and showing up as a leader, and connecting with people, and being known for someone that provides solutions. I think that as you position yourself to transition out, they'll remember that, and they'll remember you for that. I can tell you that from firsthand experience, because those people that I worked with and crossed paths with in the federal government, when they see my name or they hear about me or whatever, they get excited. They're like, "Oh, fast car is coming." My last name is Porsche, so they call me Fast Car. But people remember you for the light that you shine in the workplace, as an employee. And most time, those people that create consulting companies and go back as consultants to the federal government, they worked for the federal government in some capacity, and they went back and sold those same services and solutions that they did on the job, at a premium price, uh, under a contract. So I hope that was valuable and helpful to you, Damon. Um, Let me know your thoughts.
That was excellent. And consulting is exactly the lane that I'm looking into or thinking about. So thank you. This is on point.
You are very, very welcome. Certainly, stay connected. Like I said, we have the club here on Clubhouse. You can follow the club, and we have a free Facebook group on Facebook. So I'd love to connect with you, support you in your journey. We do work with a lot of veterans, people that are retiring and looking to go back as a federal government contracting. Again, that was my path. So, pretty, well versed in that space, and happy to help you navigate in your transition. Thank you so much for coming to the stage and asking your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon. Okay, so Miss Sassy, what if, oh, I'm sorry, Miss Sassy. So your question is, what if I attend the workshop on Thursday but can only be a part of the session? Will there be a replay? Yes, ma'am. So the workshop, um, On the 2-day workshop for Thursday with the action planning will be recorded. Replay will be available, as well as the Saturday session. Replay will be available for a lifetime. So you get lifetime access to both. So yeah, you can replay, pause, take action, and get back to it. So yes, ma'am, you will have that information available to you. You invested, you paid for it, so it becomes yours. So can I get started as a subcontractor with the workshop, or do I need to attend the accelerator? So certainly yes. You know, once you have taken action and put all of the key components that you need to have in place for your company, and you are able to start looking at doing business with the federal government. Literally, if you can market your services and your solutions with your capability statement tomorrow, you can become a subcontractor. It's just like flipping your resume and being a 1099. Literally, if you look at it that way, it's very attainable to do. So yes, ma'am, you certainly can become a subcontractor. The accelerator gives you more insight on creating those assets and those tools, that those resources that you need to have in place. We show you where the money resides. We show you where the federal government agencies are that are buying the services that you offer. We help you, just really create all of those key components that you need to have in place. And happy to talk a little bit more about the value with the accelerator. But certainly anyone can become a subcontractor if you position yourself to get in front of those agencies that hold federal government contracts, and they are willing to bring you on as a contractor. So, yes, to answer your question, you can become a subcontractor tomorrow if you position yourself to be that. So again, I am going to do the final call for questions. We are 6 minutes over. So for anyone that has questions, please raise your hand, come to the stage, or drop your question in the comments on Facebook or YouTube, and I will be happy to answer your questions. You are so welcome. So welcome, Ms. Johnson. All right. Well, hearing there are no further questions, thank you all again so much for joining. Thank you all for connecting with us here at Global Works Consulting Group. Again, we invite you to go out and take the quiz and get your readiness assessment to see where to get started with federal government contracting. And that's wewincontracts.com. Our next event is the workshop happening on June 24th and 26th, where you can get signed up and registered for the Roadmap to Federal Government Contracts workshop by visiting www.wewantcontracts.com. That's wewantcontracts.com. We'd love to have you in our workshop. And if you have any questions, reach out to us via email. That's contracts@aaronporche.com, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Again, thank you all so much for joining us for our Contracts and Business Deal Bootcamp. And until next time, we will see you all later. I'm Aaron Porche. Thank you all again. Bye-bye.